Okay, Dr. Shu, shall we get started now?
Begin.
Okay. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome you all to our final presentation of Capstone Project Spring 2021. Dr. Shoemaker and myself are the instructors for this course. Our capstone is the senior level project courses that teach our students to solve a substantial problem with the knowledge gained from many years in computer science. So students work in team to define a problem, develop a solution, produce and demonstrate an artifact for those problems. And finally, they present their work. So this semester, we have 51 students in total, including 18 students in computer science, 19 in information technology, and 14 in computer information science. So they're working in 9 groups to build up their products and applications on the most popular cloud platforms such as Amazon, AWS, Google Firebase, GitHub, and so on. So next, let's welcome our first group, Carcierge, to present their project. And here, the Carcierge provides a all-inclusive subscription for vehicle maintenance services with extreme convenience. Okay, so next, please.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Brent Leeper. As Dr. Wu mentioned, we're working on Carcierge. Our team includes myself, the team lead and lead developer, as well as Brian Whipke, a developer, Shay, the system engineer, Alex, the IT specialist, and John, our other IT specialist. At the problem. So Dr. Wu had mentioned some of this. The solution anyway. Car maintenance is a hassle, it's inconvenient. I myself have spent hours of what I would consider to be wasted time, just finding a shop to even go to, adjusting my schedule, and visiting the shop and having to wait. Also, you may forget about an important service leading to safety issues, warranty issues, etc. So what is Carcierge? Carcierge is an ultra convenient vehicle maintenance subscription. Based on your mileage, we're going to send you a notification to get a certain service. When it's your time for an appointment on the day that you scheduled, we'll send you a notification letting you know your driver is ready to pick up your vehicle, and you'll just simply share your location. Also, the same is on the return. Whenever your maintenance is complete, a driver will return it right back to you wherever you are. All the basic services and car wash for each service is included with the subscription price. So at this point, I'll hand it over to Shay to talk through our business plan. Go ahead, Shay.
Thank you so much, Brett. So, Carcierge value proposition. Carcierge is a vehicle maintenance subscription service that focuses on extreme convenience for its customers. This service allows customers the ability to schedule basic maintenance and all the types of maintenance for their vehicle. The type of service that are included in Carcierge subscriptions are like basic car wash, oil changes, tire rotations, and a lot more others. This service removes the hassle of car maintenance and offers customers the comfort and maintenance needed to keep their vehicle in great shape, all with a push of a button. Next slide. So, what are some product features of Carcierge? So, I'll make it simple. Simply pick a service date, no time required. A Carcierge driver will come pick up your vehicle from the comfort of your home. Once your car is done with its maintenance, our driver will drop back your car at your current location. Pickup and drop off is also included at no extra charge. Basic service like car wash are also included in our subscription plan. Maintenance reminder would also be sent based on your mileage in the future. Hassle-free maintenance from the beginning to the end. Next slide. So, Carcierge customer segment. I'm sure by now you guys are wondering, who are we targeting? So right now, Carcierge, we're targeting the vehicle owners in the upper middle class, aged between 35 to 45 with higher education. And the average income of our target market is $106,000 in average income. And why are we actually targeting this group of individuals? We believe that this group of individuals have disposable income, which fit into Carcierge business model. And this group of individuals make up 3.22% of US household. We also plan to do heavy targeted advertising because we're actually marketing to a niche market. So we're actually going to go in heavy on the target advertising just so we can reach our customers. Next slide. Thank you. So Carcierge key partners, who do we plan to partner up with? Right now, Carcierge, we're trying to partner up with the insurance company, and we plan to sell these subscriptions bundle with coverage. Just imagine going on to get a policy with your insurance and getting Carcierge added with the perks and all the bonus that comes with Carcierge. We also plan to partner up with car dealerships. We plan to sell the subscription to them, which they can sell to the customer. They would also be a key point in providing maintenance for our customers also. And last but not least, we actually plan to partner up with Independent Service Center. They will also be a key partner in providing maintenance for Carcierge customers. Next slide. So I'm sure by now you guys are wondering who our biggest competitors are in this industry. First of all, let me mention Carcierge is the first of a kind that brings in convenience for their customer when it comes to complete maintenance without you doing anything. But this is the closest to competitor we have in this industry. The mobile auto service industry are one of our closest competitors. But before you get ahead of yourself, there's a lot of limitation that makes this mobile auto service not the best choice for customers. First of all, they are limited access to larger equipment, fewer resources. They lack more complex too, and basically the limitation based on job size. Not every maintenance can get done with the mobile auto service, and that is where Carcierge comes in. We plan to remove the headache of this, and this is going to be a one inconvenience for our customer, a complete subscription to maintenance. Next slide. So Carcierge revenue. How do we plan to make money? So right now at Carcierge, we're actually going to focus on the subscription revenue model. And why are we actually going with this model? We believe that this model is actually sustainable to keep the company growing on the long run when it comes to cash. And how do we plan to price Carcierge? We plan to price Carcierge as $999 a year. Don't forget, this is actually bundled with our partners, the insurance company and the car dealerships. And Carcierge future point of sales, sometimes down the future, we also plan to sell this subscription directly to our customers. And Carcierge sales forecast and Carcierge monthly customer projection, I will talk more about that on the next slide. So let me get you started on the image on the left side. We as a company Carcierge, we actually project that in the first year, we should be able to gain 2,000 paying customers. And how do we plan to get to that number? First of all, we believe in the first year of operation, our first month of business, we plan to get 50 customers. We also plan to keep doubling that growth till we get to the end of the year. We know if we can maintain that steady growth, we should be able to reach 2,000 paying customers in the first full year of operation. And the projected sales is just based on the 2,000 paying customer. And we believe with a 2,000 paying customer, with our pricing model of $999, we should be able to reach somewhere under 2 million in our first year. Next slide. So Carcierge cost structure. I'll get you started on the expenses. I'm sure by now you guys are wondering how we plan to spend this money. In the first full year of Carcierge operation, we believe that this is going to be the key spending area when it comes to independent contractors' wages, our key partner, and insurance. We know that for Carcierge customer, we want your vehicle to be in top notch. And we know that after your vehicle is being picked up, there's going to be some liabilities, and Carcierge wants to be sure our customers are protected on all angles. Like I just mentioned, with the revenue above, the subscription revenue has us somewhere placed under 2 million in the first year. And the image on the left is our projected assets and liabilities. First of all, we know our Carcierge, the team, if we plan to gather money in the first year of operation, we believe we should be able to have a projected asset from cash, from families and friends of $50,000. And projected liabilities is if we decided to actually get Carcierge running on the ground right now, we believe we should be able to secure a capital of 1 million to get everything added. Thank you so much. And that is everything with Carcierge financials.
Thank you, Shay. At this point, why wait? We're going to take you right into the live demo of the working version of Carcierge. First, we'll start with the customer view. This simulates the mobile view. I already have an account set up, so let me log right in. That's the wrong account. Here we land in our garage. In our garage, we can see our vehicles, see some overview details, update our mileage, and enable or disable auto renew. Additionally, we can add another vehicle. So let's do that now. You can manually add and choose your options from the dropdown, or you can conveniently use the VIN lookup. And add the vehicle to your account. Once the vehicle is added, we can add a subscription. Right now, we are not accepting payments, but in the future, we would have payment here. This lands you on the vehicle detail page. You can see you have no upcoming services and no service history for this new vehicle. Let's go ahead and schedule a service. Oil change, tire rotation. And these are just some examples. There'll be more here in the delivered product. Maybe we don't need a tire rotation. So we'll schedule that out for end of next week. Whenever we schedule, it organizes an agreement with a local shop to take that service and make sure they have availability. You can also cancel the service. Whenever you schedule, you get your service confirmation email, which links back to the page. Now continuing, if we, on the day of service, a driver will receive a similar email to the one shown. They can either accept or decline. Accepting sends this email to the client to share their location, which I'll do now. The client lands on this page and shares their real-world location back to the driver. And from here, the route would be generated. It looks like my computer's email is not updated, so we'll just continue. The route will be generated and shared to the driver, at which point they would drop off the vehicle at the shop. We'll continue to the shop view. The shop has an overview of all the vehicles scheduled for maintenance today. They can also view scheduled maintenance for other days. Within each service, you can see the service details. You can see none of the vehicles are on site. Once the vehicle is on site, you would be able to select in progress and then check off each item as it was completed. Enter service notes, service mileage, and choose service complete. At that point, a driver would be scheduled to deliver the vehicle back to the customer. And that's pretty much it for the customer flow. Additionally, we'll quickly view the admin side. This is from the web admin's perspective. From here, we can see all the database objects and their relationships. We can see the client's data, the vehicles, any subscriptions, and any services, and modify them as needed. This has been a quick overview of Carcierge. Now, how does Carcierge work? We'll cover the hardware, the services, and the software. First, we'll start with John, or Alex, rather.
Yeah, so now that we're in the IT portion of this project, the first thing that we ended up doing was the cloud stand-up, which we ended up doing in AWS. So we have a Lightsail instance that works with Django. It's 1 GB RAM and has 40 gigs of SSD. We have our RDS instance for our Postgres database that goes up to 100 terabytes. We registered our host domain, which is carcierge1.net, and our Route 53 console on AWS. And then we're also using Confluent Kafka for our event streaming. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. So our backup plan, so this was then the next thing we did. So if anything were to happen to our main instance, what would we do? So we have our AWS is automatically going to back it up every week. And we also have our own privately hosted server with a backup snapshot that will also be used for real-time failover. Now, John will take us through the other IT things that we did.
So we have several back-end services that we use to get everything working properly. Most important was the mod WSGI. That's because we have a Unix server running Apache and Django, which those two don't work together out of the box. Apache directs requests to the resources, and it doesn't know how to get to the proper places in Django for that. That's where mod WSGI comes in. It shows Apache how to get to those resources. So without that, it just doesn't work at all. We also needed SSL for certain parts of the site. So we use Let's Encrypt as our certificate authority. Google Maps, Places, and Geo APIs. Since we're trying to give our drivers maps to the customers and to the shops, we're using those for that. We also have PostGIS with GDAL, so we can use coordinates, latitude, longitude for ease of use. And the NTSB VIN API allows us to use the VIN lookup so the customers don't have to fill everything in manually. Next slide. Since our product is completely service-based and accessible completely online, all of our tech needs are about maintaining that online presence. So first we have our cloud services, which again, we went through AWS for Lightsail and RDS, and our backups are going to be done primarily in AWS as well, but we will have our private backup server, which just to start out with, we'll have a Unix server running Apache with 16 gigs of RAM and an 8 terabyte SSD. Since we will be using a subscription payment model, we'll have to go with a PayPal business account since the standard account doesn't handle subscription payments. And I will hand it over to Brian to discuss implementation.
Hello. Well, firstly, the project, it uses Python 3.8.5 to complete. Additionally, it uses the Django framework, which is compatible for Python and allows for us to quickly develop the website. We used Postgres, SQL, PostGIS, and GDAL, which allows for spatial reference, such as determining distances between two objects, such as a driver and a shop. And we use Python's Kafka, and additionally we use jQuery and JavaScript. Next slide. Thank you. So using Python and Django, we only needed to write around 8,500 lines, which is pretty small for when compared to other web development projects. And over half of those lines are written in HTML. Using Django, we were able to have a development time of roughly 65 hours, which is a little under 2 work weeks for one developer. Django allows for object relational mapping, which implicitly handles creation and manipulation of a database, which eliminates the need to write even a single line of SQL. Django also allows for direct HTML template rendering. Now with Kafka, we can use in order event streams, so we can process. We can send emails in a timely manner with that, and using Django and Kafka, we were able to easily scale this project as needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. I have since received the email, which was only slightly delayed. So I'll continue back to the presentation or the demo. We see here, we have the client location, which is my real world location, and I will not show now. But also we see the vehicle details, the customer information, how to contact them, and the shop location. And if we were using a smartphone, this would simply open this as a route in the Google Maps application, and we can get our route to the shop. The driver simply needs to choose dropped off once they have dropped the vehicle off at the shop. at which point the shop will be notified via email, and the status will change on-site awaiting service. At this point, we can move it to in progress, mark off the items as they're complete, leave a service note, which is saved with Ajax, and the service mileage. Once we mark the service complete, the service is considered closed and will show as complete as well. Actually, I forgot about this. The driver will then be offered the assignment and also be given the route back to the customer. I won't repeat that because it's a very similar process to the shop drop-off. And that is the complete demo. At this point, we'd like to open for any questions.
I have a question for Shay. I was looking at your customer acquisition graph back then, and you had that stream of growth, and you're saying you were going to double it, but May was very, very low. I think it was the second lowest month in that entire thing. Why is May so different from everything else?
So we figured that we would have a slow month, and I'm actually, thank you for for catching that out. I was just hoping somebody was going to see. Thank you. In May, there we figured we were going to have a slow month, and we wanted to picture maybe it could be in the first 3 months of operation. Every business is going to have a slow. I didn't project this is just going to be a growth to the top. We believe we're going to have a slow month where sales are just at minimum, and that is why we projected that we might have a slow month in the first 3 months or in the first 4 months. So that is why May projection was a little bit different. I'm happy you cut that out. Was I able to answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have
Any
a
other
question.
questions? Okay.
Yep. What are y'all planning to do as far as advertising?
Shay, I'll let you take that as well.
Thank you. That falls within my line. So when it comes to advertising, we're actually going to do targeted ads, and we plan to advertise on Facebook and on Google Ad. We actually going to be doing a lot of market segmentation, because this is to market to the upper middle class, which is a very niche group. So when it comes to marketing, it's going to be strictly on Google Ads and Facebook, and Instagram too is also another place. But we're actually going to focus a lot on targeted ads to make sure we get our customers.
And I just wanted to add to that, we're also going to rely on our key partners for quite a bit, since it's going to be kind of tied into the insurance and the buying a new car. When you get those quotes from the insurance company or the financing through the car dealerships, we can have them explain the service to the customer so they can buy them at that point as well.
Thanks, Shay. Thanks, John.
I have a question. I'd like to know, is this service going to be solely based in the US, or will you plan on expanding it to Europe, Asia, possibly Australia, etc.?
I'll take that. Yeah, so our initial launch will be based in the United States, 100%. So as we grow, we have to work with local shops and service centers, and that's not something that will easily happen overnight. And we want to make sure that we do things the right way, following the regulations in each different municipality, for example. That's a big task. And so when you go even between states within the US, you have to consider each of those things, and even within cities. So once we get through that that hurdle, then we would take on perhaps Europe or Asia, depending on where the market is heading there, or what the desire is for these kinds of services there.
Thank you.
I had a question. I was wondering why you guys chose AWS over their many competitors, like Firebase and other similar platforms.
John, did you want to mention the pre-built?
Yeah, well, I looked over all the different cloud options. AWS, since we're working with Django specifically, AWS was the best fit for that. They already had a lot of it set up, ready to go with the Lightsail instance, where we didn't have to do anything special to work with Django. So that's why we chose AWS.
Gotcha.
I actually had two questions. One was, how did you guys come up with the subscription price? And then the other question was it ever kind of a decision in your mind to focus on consumers versus kind of licensing it out to mechanics or mechanic shops?
So I'll take that. This is a new idea, and we did consider having this as just a pick up and drop off convenience service, which we could spin if the market for this isn't there. So we could definitely spin this using these exact same tools, the software tools that we've created to facilitate several different business models. This is the one we've chosen now because inclusive subscription services are very popular now, but we do realize that there may be other ways to implement this. So that is a valid point that you made. We may consider that going forward, perhaps.
I had a quick question. Have you guys considered or taken into account maybe how the market in the car industry is changing more to EV vehicles that require less maintenance and service?
Yes. So we do plan on having a low maintenance subscription, and it would be a bit cheaper, and that would kind of be for your luxury customers, perhaps, or maybe more and more people as they get these EVs. We'll keep your car perfect, like spotless. That would include, detail services, or wax and stuff like that, and we would take care of that, and you wouldn't have to worry about a thing. So that we have considered, and that can be built into this model as well.
I have a question. So you've mentioned a couple of times that this is a unique idea that you came up with. Is that correct?
Aware to me, I mean, if there's anything out there like this,
Okay, I just wanted to point out in your development, it would probably be important. There's seems to be an identical company in Australia, which obviously isn't in your initial thing, but it's named the same thing, seems to do exactly the same thing that you might want to be aware of as you're expanding, so you don't run into any issues with, rights and such.
Sure, and this is a student project for a class. I'm not sure if that was a question or an attack, but thank you for that.
I'm a little confused as well, because didn't you ask that you wanted the instructors to sign an NDA?
So about the code base. So yes, the code base would be belonging to the team.
I wanted to add something to what Brett said. I know you mentioned a different company in a different, in a different country. Right now, we're focusing in the US, and plan for expansion now, a couple of years into the future. And when it comes to things like, there's a lot of companies that come up with, this is not fixed in stone. We haven't gotten a trademark for Carcierge, so we could always, change the company's name down the road. So we're not actually infringing on anybody's rights, and so we don't have any lawsuits to worry about, because this name we went with our business model. So if we had to change the name, companies do that, it would definitely change the name. But right now in the US, we are one of a kind, and not the only thing close to that is the bull auto industry. So I hope that answers the question, sir.
I'm not sure. I think we're out of time. How are we on time? Do we have a couple more minutes for a couple more questions? I think we're just running up on time now.
Okay, thank you guys for all the questions, and we have to move on. Okay, so
thank you.
thank you.